Hello, my name is Dr. Talia Markajani. I'm a naturopathic doctor with a focus in mental health and emotional wellness. And I'm here to tell you that you are brilliant, not broken. But you still might feel like something's off. You might wake up tired and anxious in the morning. Perhaps you feel irritable, impatient, pulled in too many directions. Perhaps you feel hopeless, burnt out, exhausted. And I'm here to tell you that if you feel this way, you're not alone. 1 in 4 people, or 25% of us, suffer from a diagnosed mental health condition, like anxiety or depression. But still more of us suffer from low mood, fatigue, hormonal imbalances, bloating, and other digestive issues that can be connected to our mood, and general feelings of a lack of motivation or a lack of fulfillment. You might think things like, I don't feel well, but I have no reason to be unhappy, or I don't feel like myself, or there's got to be something more to life than this, going to work and coming home and watching Netflix. But I don't have energy to do anything else. I feel like life is a slog to get through. As common as this problem is, I don't believe that you need to be diagnosed with something to care for your mental health. Mental health is mental health. We also know our mental health is in crisis, though. We're suffering from low mood, fatigue, and metabolic conditions like diabetes, which are all risk factors for coming up with a diagnosis. We feel shame for who we are. We feel stigmatized and unsupported by our healthcare professionals. We feel like we don't matter. We feel like life doesn't matter. And so if you feel this way, you're often just offered some pills, maybe therapy as a solution, and sometimes these solutions work, but there's still millions of us suffering despite more access to treatment and more treatment being doled out than ever before. And I think this is because we've gotten the cause wrong. And if we have the cause wrong, we probably have the solution wrong too. We used to think that mental health conditions were a disorder in brain chemistry, like a chemical brain imbalance that you were born with. Therefore, essentially, you were born broken. But we offered medication to fix it. And we would say that medication was kind of like eyeglasses for somebody who was nearsighted. Now, this was way better than the original narrative that went, just snap out of it, or depression doesn't exist, it's just all in your head. That, pretended that these conditions didn't exist and invalidated those who suffered. But we know so much more than that now. We know that mental health and emotional wellness are not just the absence of mental illness, and they are actually formed and healed through foundations that support things like our microbiome, the bacteria that live in our gut, that provide us with a variety of important nutrients, support our sleep and circadian rhythms, our hormones, particularly our stress axis, the hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis, foundations that acknowledge our reproductive hormones, that keep our cells clear of oxidative stress through the right nutrition and proper stress management, foundations that support psychosocial stress management through a comprehensive self-care routine and other interventions like nature therapy, mindfulness, and addressing mindset. And of course, regular movement that is meant to nurture us and make us feel great, not to punish us. I got into this work because of my own personal experience with feeling off. And well, off is a bit of an understatement. I was completely shut down, stressed out, bloated, exhausted, and in mental and emotional despair. When I finished my undergrad at Queen's University, or when I was in the process of finishing it, I remember feeling terrible. I was so exhausted, I couldn't get out of bed, I'd gained weight, and I felt puffy. My digestive system was complete trash. And so with these symptoms, I went to a walk-in clinic to get help, and the doctor there told me, well, if you're gaining weight, then just try and eat less. So I don't remember what I said after that, but I remember leaving her office and collapsing on the sidewalk outside the Grey Clinic strip mall and clinic in Kingston, Ontario, just sobbing into my hands, completely gutted and hopeless, and literally in the gutter. Then I moved to Columbia after graduating to teach English, and I got some, quote, help there. I was put on Prozac for a while, which is a antidepressant medication. And while this can help many people, and there's certainly no shame in taking medication, it only gave me side effects. I remember rage quitting my job, being hysterical, things that were completely out of character for me. I finally ended up seeing a holistic practitioner while living in Bogota, Colombia, and he helped me see how the details of what I was feeling fit into this bigger picture. He showed me how they were all connected and how they were just symptoms of something that was underlying this general sense of unwellness I was feeling. Most importantly, though, he listened to me and he taught me, which is what doctor actually means. Doctor comes from the word docere, which is a Latin word that means to teach. And he did teach me. He taught me how to eat, how to be mindful, sleep, and move. And I then took his teachings and went beyond that and began to get into my own stuff, to learn how to regulate my hormones through circadian rhythms, and to do meditation, and to heal myself with certain kinds of psychology and psychotherapy. I began studying naturopathic medicine, learning plant medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, in order to become the kind of doctor I wish I'd had at the time that I was struggling. And I began to heal. And you may be feeling what I felt, or know someone who is. They may be feeling brain fog, or fatigue, digestive issues, low mood, difficulty getting up and feeling joyful. I always associate good mood with waking up in the morning, feeling ready to tackle the day, energized, excited, and raring to go. You might be feeling physical aches and pains, like life is a slog to get through. You might be burdened by a million things going on in your life, and very few of them feel nourishing. And you might be trying to solve the problem by searching endlessly on Dr. Google, or maybe taking hundreds of supplements you've read about. You might even have received a diagnosis and therefore have been validated in that regard. And maybe it does fit, or maybe it doesn't fit at all, and then you feel invalidated. Or maybe it partially fits, and so you're like, okay, that's great, but then what happens to the rest of my symptoms? Is it just my fault then? Maybe you received a solution because of this diagnosis. And maybe that solution is working somewhat, but maybe you feel there's something more to it. Why has no one asked you what you eat or what time you go to bed? And so maybe you decided that, okay, nutrition and lifestyle does matter, so I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And maybe did some research trying to get healthy and tried some diets that made your life miserable. And then you just fell off because your brother got married, or you went on a cruise, and then you just ended up feeling like a failure. So generally you felt what I felt, shame and lack of support when it comes to your mental health and mood. And you might even sadly feel like it's your fault, which only accentuates the shame and accentuates the low mood you might be dealing with. But I want you to feel what I feel now most days, quite honestly. I mostly feel joy and energy waking up with a clear head and a great mood. I have bad days, but mostly I'm excited for the day, passionate about life. I have great relationships. I want you to have good poop, which one of the people in my Good Mood Foundation's Facebook group commented was a signal for her that she was dealing with good mood that day. I want you to feel light and feel a lot of energy. Be able to move and not feel sore afterwards. I want you to fall in love with your life. I want you to feel embodied, to learn about yourself and your relationship to food, to stress, to the planet's rhythms, your daily routines, exercise, and daily patterns. I want you to be able to have a bad day, and then with these foundations, take control and feel empowered to shift away from that and to start having more good days. I want you to engage in a process of self-discovery and self-healing like I was fortunate enough to be able to do 10 years ago. And so I want to welcome you to the Good Mood Foundation's program, a 6-week lifestyle program that I've developed for mental health and emotional wellness. Generally, a foundational program that supports your mood, no matter what your mood looks like right now. This is an education-only program to get you started on healing your mood and/or as an adjunct to the work you're doing with your healthcare provider. It contains 6 weeks of content. In week 1, we're focusing on nutrition. We're learning the nutrients needed to make your brain and body work optimally, how to meal plan to regulate your blood sugar, which is my big passion, how to reduce inflammation through food, and support your gut microbiome. Now, this is very different from what you might have tried because it's an inclusive diet, which means we're not restricting or shaming. It's a process, not a program where you'll probably just, fall off after 6 weeks or done. No, this is a process that includes clear instructions on how to track and how to look at your food from a different perspective. It includes a free ebook called The Mood Diet, which has a grocery list and recipes that don't take any time to prepare. This is about learning nutrition principles rather than a diet. And you can apply these principles for the rest of your life, during your brother's wedding or during your all-inclusive cruise and beyond. In week 2, we're going to cover circadian rhythms, which I believe are one of the cornerstones of our mental health and emotional wellness. They dictate our energy levels, our digestion, how we sleep, and our brain health. And I want to teach you the science behind circadian rhythms and simple action steps to regulate yours and in turn regulating your stress response and resilience. In week 3, we cover movement and motivation. And I want to teach you how to move in a way, or consider movement as a way that feels good, not punishing to your body. I want to help you feel embodied rather than just push through fatigue, and fall in love with exercise and thereby fall in love with your body. I want to help you understand how to nourish your body with movement, and also to learn about motivation, how sometimes a lack of motivation is permission to rest, and how to tell the difference. And if it's not, and it means that we need to imply certain strategies, what these strategies are to set your neurochemistry up for spontaneous, abundant energy that makes getting to your after work paint class or pottery class or yoga effortless. In week 4, we talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness is one of the hot topics for mental health, and for good reason. There are a lot of studies on how it can rewire the brain and get us out of that ruminative cycle that depression, anxiety, or just crabby mood feel like. I want to teach you the principles behind mindful meditation and to teach you to learn how to meditate. And there are 9 audio recordings and easy goals to start feeling more embodied, present, and emotionally regulated, and to get space between your thoughts and your emotions and your reactions to those things. In week 5, we talk about mindset, using principles from cognitive behavior therapy, positive psychology, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, where we talk how to heal and nurture our mindset to move away from the negative biases that once served us, but now might just keep us in a low mood state, how to identify core beliefs that hinder our ability to feel good and love ourselves, and how to rewire the brain for better emotional wellness and to have a good mood. And in week 6, we're going to talk about self-care and nature therapy. There are myriad ways in which nature exposure is good for us. There's also a science and art behind putting together a great self-care routine. And I want to walk you through the steps and help you identify how to make your life more nourishing and less depleting. Now, what we're going to be doing in this program is there will be a video lecture with a downloadable audio if you prefer to just listen to the information. And then there will be very specific action plans. The principles that I'm providing are to help you gain knowledge. So I want to teach you how to care for yourself. I want to give you the information necessary, the science lesson behind it in a way that's really accessible and interesting. I want to teach you why I'm recommending what I'm recommending. And then I also want to give you tools, clear action points that help you optimize your mental health and mood. And then a strategy for putting those tools together, and in the form of an action plan, a booklet that helps you take charge and feel organized, and also the ability to track your progress and track how you feel in order to provide you with even more knowledge so that we can reinforce that whole cycle and strengthen these foundational pieces so that it is really a process of self-discovery and self-healing. A big bonus of this program is the fact that we're stacking all of these really powerful tools. So when we stack, we reap the benefits of all the tools plus more. So we might know that nutrition is good for us, that there are studies behind nutrition actually reducing depression by about 30%. So 30% of participants that learned about nutrition for 12 weeks in one study had resolution of their symptoms. And we also know that exercise is really powerful for mood. But what happens when we have clear, actionable steps in place that stack these foundations on top of one another in a way that helps create lifelong habits and changes the way you look at your life? One of my colleagues said this really powerful thing: your resilience is in your routines. I tried to make this program as beautiful as possible and with simple, easy to navigate content that you can access for a lifetime. You'll always have access. And you'll always be able to go over the lessons and access all of the downloads available to you. Now, with stacking, there is a program that's even lighter. So it contains 5 principles instead of 6, and it has clear action points as well that help with nutrition and sleep. and very simple. So in their nutrition section, all they have people do is track their food. They don't really give them any information on what to eat or how food works in their body. They also do mindfulness, they do social routines and things like that. And they've noticed anywhere from 30 to 40% reduction in symptoms of mental health conditions. So stacking is quite powerful. I also want to offer you a lot of support and the lessons, meditations to download. I want this program to be easy for you to do. I want you to be able to do it on your worst day, and therefore I've provided a base layer in which you can tackle the action points, still get results and feel good, and not have this process overwhelm your life. I am also providing weekly Q&A videos. So you can ask me your questions about the program or about mood in general. These have to be general questions, but I am going to be recording a video that addresses all of your questions once a week for the first 6 weeks, and then afterwards when I get enough questions. Now, why am I offering this? Who am I? Well, I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've seen over 1,000 patients. I focus on mental health and emotional wellness, essentially mood. And as I've been working with these patients and healing myself, I've noticed that there's these common foundations that need to be in place for everyone in order for us to heal and to feel better. And so I tried to create a program that answered the question, what do people need to know in order to get started in having a great mood? What did I wish that all the people coming to see me were already starting on before they came into my office? What should everyone know at the beginning in order to take care of their mental health and emotional wellness? That would save us a lot of time in office going through all these foundational pieces. And also, what can people direct family members, colleagues, employees, and friends to if they're not quite ready to work one-on-one, but are struggling right now? I have taken courses on biochemistry. My background is in science. I have a Bachelor of Science from the Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, and I have a degree of naturopathic medicine from the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine. I'm passionate about biochemistry, the microbiome. I've done conferences on immune function and hormones and mental health, and I also have a background in teaching. I've done meditation trainings. I'm a facilitator for mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. I've trained in CBT. I've done a 10-day silent Vipassana meditation retreat. And I have tried every diet as an experiment to be able to bring that information back to my patients and see what works. I've done the keto diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet, the paleo diet. I've done gut microbiome specific diets like FODMAP, low FODMAP. I've done the elimination diet, and I've tried fasting as long as 48 hours with just water. And I'm here to tell you I'm not recommending any of those things for these foundational pieces, but I learned a lot through that process and feel very qualified to talk about nutrition because of my experiences in both my own self-experimentation and working with others. Now, this program offers quite a lot. There's 6 lectures over about 4 hours of teaching. There are 2 ebook downloads, the Mood Diet and the Perfect Periods manual with some recipes on how to regulate your hormonal cycles. This is a program, like I said, that you can do on your worst day. So there are weekly booklets that you can download, as well as the audio for the lesson. And the weekly booklets walk you through your tasks for the week. They're meant to be beautiful and for you to be able to fill them out, either print them out and write on them or type them up on your computer. And there's a base layer for each take-home task. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you've got a lot going on that week, you can just focus on the base layer. And the base layer is designed to get you some results. So anything that's different from what you're already doing is going to be an improvement on building these foundations. This program is designed to be enough to do 3 to 6 months worth of work. So to really build and strengthen these foundations, gain the knowledge, learn the tools, and then have these really specific strategies that help you implement these tools, as well as these outlets for tracking so that you can see what's working and learn as you go. So I tried to make this program as cheap as possible. So I wanted to offer it for the price of, it's the price of one visit currently. And once the discount is up, I wanted to make a program that's cheaper than the first 2 visits of working with me. But this is the equivalent of 3 to 6 months of work with me. Now, just 6 visits, so you have 6 lessons, and 6 visits with me would be almost $1,000 for the hours and the appointments. But then you have to factor in your parking and the time and all of that stuff. So I tried to make this a really affordable option for people who don't have the time or the money to work one-on-one. Now, the price will go up to $245 on October 1st. And so I want you to sign up as quickly as possible. There will also be more engagement when it comes to the question and answers in the first 6 weeks of this program being released. So I want you to sign up now. Please click the button below. Let me know if you have any questions by emailing me at connect@taliand.com. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited to teach you all of this stuff and to get you feeling good, because you matter. And I really designed this program with that love for you in mind. Take care.